Rodents have always been a nuisance. In today's What's Bugging You, though, we went to the experts at Truly Nolen Pest Control to get you some help to get rid of them. I'm here with Truly Nolen Pest Control's Nelson Gonzalez, and we're chatting about keeping these rodents out of our homes. Thanks for spending some time with us.
Thanks for having us again.
Yeah, so during COVID, we kind of noticed that we were seeing a lot of these rodents go into these businesses that were empty, but you can't tell now because it's nice and hot out, but did that cold snap kind of bring those rodents back in?
Yeah, that's what it did, is they left all the garbage behind. The businesses were empty, no one was there was no activity. Rodents are scared, so now that there's nobody in there, they're going to go back inside the structures. They're looking for nesting, food, and that's why they generally go in when it's cold.
Okay, they're trying to find some reprieve themselves, right?
Exactly.
So where are a few places around our homes that we can expect to see them trying to get inside?
So there's multiple areas that we can go through. Your garage threshold, on your rooftop, your conversion roof lines. AC chases are one of the areas. If you have a garage door that's not been sealed properly, now through the plumbing. So we're getting a lot of problems through plumbing. We're disconnected in plumbing, or they're doing modification, or you did home improvements on the house and they're not capping it off. They're using the pipes to get through there and get into your homes as well.
They're just looking for those entry
points.
Yes. Yeah. Are there things that we should be looking for around our home that could tell us that rodents have been inside or they're trying to get in?
Yeah, so they're very dirty and they don't need a very big area. All they need to do is find a spot where they can get their head through it, and then they'll leave a greasy rub mark behind where they're getting into those spots, usually on something like a gap in the structure, the door. Your conversion roof lines are very open, your AC chase, but those are the areas you want to look at heavy, and you can see them going through there.
Okay. Does this cause a health hazard if we don't take care of it?
It does. So they cause a lot of diseases. Their droppings, their urine doesn't leave a good scent behind. You know, they'll mess up your insulation in the attic, chew wires, and then cause fires too as well.
Okay, so what can we do if somebody's like, ooh, I actually have seen a few of those things on the outside? Are there things that we can do right now by ourselves?
Yeah, I would do an inspection of your home. If you can't get to the areas, then I would hire a professional, someone that can get up there and look at the areas around your house and then identify those things for you. All right, so this right here is a vent stack. They're using these things to get into their plumbing. Unwanted visitors in the toilet. If there's any kind of separation, they can get into your structure as well. When you're looking at conversion roof lines right here, any kind of gap or resource, they can just get that area and get into your structure as well. Also have ridge vents along your home where they can squeeze into as well. All right, so when we look at your home and you have things on top of your structure, anything on it is a runway for bugs, roaches, ants, any of those things. So you want to kind of trim your stuff off of your structure so it's not touching. I've seen them walk upside the gutter or inside the gutter as well. So those are areas you want to keep that trimmed off your structure. A lot of the things we're looking for, you might not see it, you know, up in the attic, along the ridge lines of your house, ridge vents, your vent stacks, and things like that.
That's really when we need to call you.
Yes, ma'am.
Is when it's getting to a point where maybe it's something I can't just patch up.
Yeah, the scratching in the attic, a constant scratching or chewing, gnawing, because they're always trying to dull their teeth and look for areas so they can dull it, and they're going to be chewing on those areas.
Yeah, so you're going to hear them.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. They're also building them out. This is a critical step that you have in your comprehensive rodent control program. Why is exclusion so important? So
there are some teams that'll just go out there and do all the trapping, but if you don't take care of the source, which are the entry points, then that's the problem. So we'll use mechanical engineering. So what it is hardware cloth, stainless steel, caps that we put on different things where they can't get in, and then from there we offer also a smoke test. Now that we're identifying a lot of plumbing issues, we'll offer that smoke test. We'll do trapping, but the whole thing is you have to make sure you get a company that's going to provide that exclusion work so they can't get in and out of the house.
And if you see it, is it a good idea just to call you and just say, is this something, so it doesn't get out of control?
100%. You should always be proactive than reactive, is what I say.
So we're talking about rodents, but also we got to talk about termites, because that was something that the cold snap also kind of pushed them into their season a little bit early.
We got a couple of calls this weekend where we had people working in their mulch. That's usually where they'll see it, the food source. They'll start swarming out of there. But yeah, when you're looking at termite season, it's one of those things where you really want to be proactive than reactive because they cause a lot of damage. When I first started here, it used to be 5 to 7 colonies per acre of land when it comes to subterranean. Now it's moved up from between 13 and 17 colonies per acre of land. So if you think of my property, if I have in the mulch there, how many other areas do you have it outside of that?
Okay, so
Yeah.
you mentioned mulch. Are there other areas around our home that we should be looking for termites, or maybe we would spot them?
Yeah, usually it's close to your home with the mulch because we also always like stack up the mulch and keep building it up. If you have a wood frame home, that is not a good idea. Also, any kind of old stumps, tree stumps or anything like that outside, those are called green zones. Those are the areas that you want to look out for too as well. You got an access panel behind your bathroom in there. There's a little panel there. That's usually one of the first areas that they target because there's a lot of moisture or leaks. But those are the things you're going to look for: the swarmers inside the house, and then also the residue of mud, sand, or from subterraneans. Drywood termites leave like a fecal matter that's little grounds, like salt and pepper. Sometimes it all depends on what type of wood they're eating is the color it's going to be.
And should we be treating our yards ahead of time?
Yeah, so when it comes to the yards, you want to keep your treatment close to the structure, right? You want to take care of that foundation barrier. We also offer a baiting system too for your termites. So there's a lot of different options that we can provide for you.
Well, great. Well, this is really good information, something to keep in mind as we get into spring and summer. It's right upon us.
Yeah, and then the only other thing I would mention is that we're just coming off that cold snap too. We have a recovery blend for the lawns. So what has happened is a lot of lawns got out of hand with it. If you didn't have the right product on your grass before the winter hit or during that time frame, you're going to suffer with a lot of lawn. We do offer a recovery blend, and then you can also see what it looks like and how it should have looked during that time frame. And now we're getting into spring, and now you're going to see all that growth again.
All right. Well, thank you so much for spending some time with us.
Thank you again for having me.
If you want Truly Nolen to come out and check out your home, contact them at trulynolen.com.